Hello and welcome to Plus One to Gaming. I'm Chris.
And I'm Eric.
And joining us as always are our good friends, Billy and Mark. Hey guys.
Weary traveler.
How's it going?
We're about to jump into session 2 of Book of the Raven, Adventure 3 in Candlekeep Mysteries. Billy, do you want to give us a recap and then take us back into the journey?
Well, of course. So, last time we saw our adventurers, they were on the road to Witchway. Leander and Stardew had found a hidden map that was secretly placed within the Book of the Raven tome that they no longer have. They borrowed it from the library at Candlekeep. But this map led them to believe that there was some sort of treasure at the end. And the book itself was their only key to the Vistani, which, for each of their own purposes, is a key to unlocking their past or their goal for Stardew. Yeah, but they weren't the only ones looking for the secret map. Little did they know that the guide that offered to take them, Gralton, was actually a spy hired to recover a lost item, and the only key that they had was that same map. But luckily, during the plan to steal the map and or assassinate them, we don't really know exactly what his total plan was. They luckily ran across Soans, whose good-hearted and kind nature generally led him to help the down-on-their-luck travelers, which interfered with Gralton's plan, and Gralton was unable to steal the map or kill anyone, and he himself ended up being killed. And now you have his borrowed horse and borrowed cart, borrowed forcefully. He borrowed it forcefully. You earned it honestly through combat. And you know the general direction of which way that he told you while he was still under his charm person spell. So you know which way to go. And I believe that you are still interested in the treasure. I do not know if Soans is interested in the treasure itself or the good deed of assisting these, to his mind, probably weak and generally confusing compatriots. But another adventure awaits the party. So here you are, and the road to Witchway. You have disposed of the dead body respectfully. You have a horse and a cart and the map and another drawn map. You have 2 maps now. And the general direction to this mysterious treasure.
About what time of day is it? Because we spent most of the day doing research, reading a book, kind of, and then preparing to travel.
It is late evening, so the sun is starting to set behind the trees in the forest around you. It's still pretty good light, but you can imagine the sun will set completely in the next few hours.
Well, Soans, I really appreciate your help coming through here. I don't think we could have done that without you. Do you guys want to rest for the night, or do you want to try and push through and find the way to Witchway?
How much farther to the next town?
Could we glean that based off of what Gralton told us?
He didn't really say how far it was, but if you give me a survival check, you could probably guess how close the town is based on traffic or maybe smoke signals or, something that you could glean.
I'm pretty sure it's about 3 fortnights away.
Yeah. Fortunately, Leander doesn't really know much of the human civilization to know how close or far it is or how far away their cities are normally. But based on her love of nature, Stardew really knows more about where nature will end than when the human settlements will start. And Soan's been around human nature enough to also to gleam. So Soans rolled a 16 and Stardew rolled a 12, which is enough to know that it's about a little over an hour away, an hour and a half. You can see the trail signs starting to pick up more cart paths, more foot traffic, and then you see more signs of humans. You see more trees that have been felled along the side of the path than it was, and you know that you're close to a town.
We might as well continue on. I think we can make it before we need to stop for the night.
Sounds good to me. Soans, you said that you were on a quest for karmic cleansing. What's that about?
Yeah, my ledger is filled with mostly bad deeds.
Oh.
Unbeknownst to me, I thought I was doing good deeds.
Do tell.
Well, I was a soldier fighting a war that I thought was just for me and my people. And I learned that the generals and the leaders were waging this war for unjust purposes. So then every action I took that I thought was just has now been reframed. So I need to make up for the lives I took and the carnage I caused.
Wow, so now you're traveling the world and doing good for people?
Yeah, basically. I have a lot. I remember every life I've taken. I mark them on my skin as a badge of honor, as is customary with my people. But those badges of honor have become reminders,
Like
and I need to,
badges of dishonor.
more or less. But I can make up for them and change my karmic weight in the balance of my God.
Well, how will you know when you're finished?
When I fill in every one of these tick marks, every one of these scars, I will know that I'm even. I'm balanced. Then I only need one more good deed to push me into the good section.
And then what will you do?
I haven't thought that far ahead. We'll figure that out when we get there.
Well, that's convenient, because I think maybe we've arrived at our destination.
What's our destination look like?
A cabbage patch! Leander's in heaven.
Cute. This is cute.
That is cute. Billy's on mute. We can't hear the DM.
After traveling for a little over an hour and sharing stories and riding with no great haste, but as to be expected, because you do not think the cart could handle a fast ride, you arrive at a very small farming community called Which Way. There's no marking or anything to know that it's Which Way, but based on the information that you got from Gralton and the map, you can tell that this location is Which Way. It is not a large town. It's a farming community. And as you get to town, the sun sets, and it is now the dusk hours, so you still have the lingering daylight, but it is quickly becoming dark. Soans, since you're a little bit more familiar with human culture with your traveling, you know that especially communities like this, they don't really like unannounced visitors after the sun goes down too late. If you come in the middle of the night, they seem weary.
We should find an end pretty soon. We don't want to be stuck out here after dark. We might get the side eye.
Well, after the day we've had, a hot meal and a soft bed seems right up my alley.
So you look around, but you don't actually see anything labeled as an inn. You see there are farmers going about their business. There are commoners walking through the town square, getting water from the communal well, and talking about this year's harvest, about the weather coming up. Casual conversations. They do seem a little weary of you because you do look different, but they don't seem alarmed enough or scared. Being on a a road that's not super well traveled, but seems to be that they are accustomed to strange travelers just popping in.
Persephone wants a drink after carrying us so far. Let's go to the well and maybe we can ask someone who lives here for a room.
Good idea.
As you go into the center of town, did you unhook her from her cart? I would assume you're not pulling her with her cart into the center of town. Okay,
Yeah,
so you find like a nice, a nice spot off to the side of the road to disconnect the cart. There's nothing in the cart, so you don't really have to fear of anybody trying to steal your goods. And it looks like a friendly enough village. But as you get in to the village, you see the friendly but cautious greetings of the villagers. They turn to you and they nod or say a quick hello.
Hello. How do you do? How do you do?
Oh, how do you do? One older gentleman comes up to the well as you're pulling back a bucket of water for Persephone. Was that the horse's name?
Her name's
Yeah.
Persephone.
Her equestrian name.
Her equestrian name.
Her true horse
Yeah,
name.
so as you get for Persephone, he comes up and he goes, "Oh, howdy, travelers. What brings you to old Witchway?"
We're actually looking for some lodging for the evening and maybe a hot meal. Does this town have an inn?
Oh, an inn you're looking for? No
Maybe a tavern.
inn per se, and no tavern, but we are all generally hospitable folks around here. The inn that we have is actually old Duggleford's barn. He keeps a fresh batch of hay, and it's nice and warm and safe. And old Duggleford's inn, as we call it, he'll be happy to house you, I believe, for a copper each. And of course, his wife makes a nice rabbit stew. And I'm sure he's be more than happy to host some travelers now. I know that his barley crop this year was not as good as he had hoped for, so any a little assistance in the monetary way would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you so much. That would be great. Stardew like throws her arms around the guy and gives him a big hug.
I hope my wife doesn't see me. Such a pretty girl giving me affection. I'm not used to it. But you're very welcome. As I said, we don't judge our travelers. We know everybody has a story, and here in this, we like to keep out of everyone's business in which way. And that's kind of how we got the name. It's a funny story. It's our motto, as travelers would go through, is whichever way you're going will help you get there. And it quickly became the name of the town. But yeah, old Duggleford's the house over there on the east, and his barn is right next to it. But go over and tell him old Jameson sent you. Maybe he'll kick me a nice bowl of rabbit stew myself.
We will. Thank you.
Much obliged.
Yeah, so I think unless there's anything else to do at well, we can go to Mr. Dungleford's house.
I think he said it was right over this way.
Knock, knock, knock.
So come in.
Hello, are you Mr. Dungleford?
Oh, indeed, I am Mr. Duggleford. Are you here for the famed lodging of the Duggleford Inn?
Well, we've heard about the legendary rabbit stew, and we're passing through after a long day of travel and quite weary. So yes, we would much appreciate some rest and some good victuals to fill our stomachs.
Oh, my wife makes a mean rabbit stew, and you are welcome to have some. And I don't really care where you're going or who you are. You look a little interesting. I'm sure you have a good story. Maybe over the rabbit stew, you can tell me what you want. That's kind of half the fun of hosting travelers is finding out where they're coming from and where they're going. I try not to pass judgment, but it's hard sometimes. But oh, Emily, put on the good rabbit stew. We have some visitors here. And he guides you into his house. He shows you out back the covered lodging, which is a barn with hay, but it's fresh hay, and you see that he fluffs it around, makes 3 semi-comfortable beds. It'll do for the night, and then he guides you back in to his smaller table, where you see his wife making rabbit stew by the fire. It's a small bowl, but with how hearty and meaty she makes her rabbit stew, it's very filling and satisfying.
I think it'll pair nicely with this port that I've been saving. And he busts out some booze.
You don't mind if I partake in that?
Oh no, I could never open a bottle and not share with our gracious hosts.
Thank you very much. I don't know if you've heard, but my barley crop this year has been a little disappointing, and unfortunately, the brewer's portion of the barley crop is secondary, so we didn't really get much chance to brew our own this year as we normally do. So I've gone wanting for too long.
Glad I can help. And Leander pours generously.
He nods and thanks you. And tell me, what's your story? Where are you going?
Well, we're helping our friend Stardew here.
I assume Stardew is the name of this pretty little elf here. And as he says pretty little elf, his wife Emily behind him slaps him across the top of the head. Oh, I'm just stating the obvious, Emily. These fae are known to be pretty creatures. I'm just trying to be polite. He gets embarrassed.
Oh, don't be embarrassed. She kind of gives him a shoulder punch.
He
I
blushes a
appreciate
little
the
bit.
compliment. These are new friends of mine, or fast friends at least. And they decided that they could help me. I'm on kind of a spiritual quest for my people. I was given a relic, and in order to find out full story, we have to do a lot of research and a lot of travel. I didn't think I could do it alone, but these gentlemen are here to help, so now I think it's actually a possibility. And meeting people like you along the way, I think we'll definitely get it done.
I know there's good people across the land, such as me. I wish I could take credit to say that I'm one in a million, but I know I'm not. We're especially around here. We take care of each other. It's the only way that we survive, and I'm happy to help whoever it is, whether it be elf or rock creature. I'll not pry into your being, or goat man, or half orc, or whoever it is that I need to help that day.
We prefer the term satyr.
Noted.
Goat people have the top half of a goat and the bottom half of a man. There's a very fine distinction there.
They do not sound very attractive. Sorry, but the top half of the goat is not the best half of the goat.
Yes. After all, we all come from the same ground. We just take different forms. Just like your barley.
Well said. Well said. Oh, elf of nature. I sometimes forget that myself, that barley itself is part of nature. I think of it as only a means to provide. But it is, you are correct.
Yes, and we are all means to provide for each other. Well, that's how nature works. There's no judgment in nature.
Leander's just been staring at his glass, wrestling with the concept that he might have been drinking people based off of what Stardew just said.
Well, I'll not pry anymore. I wish you good tidings on your journey, and any other assistance I can offer, I'd be happy to, but
Just Persephone would like some hay if she could, and to stay with us as well.
Oh,
She doesn't speak our language, but she wanted to ask.
Maybe some apples too.
Ooh,
She does love apples.
ooh, apples. I think I may have a few apples. Indeed. Old Pennywhisker's apple harvest this year was actually quite good. It was a very wet year, which is good for the apples, bad for the barley. But indeed, she is happy to stay with you in. I don't know if you want her in the barn as well, or she's happy to hang out with the old chickens. I don't think she eats eggs, so I'd be fine with her being there.
Great. I can cover her lodgings as well. I don't think she has any money of her. Persephone? No, she doesn't have any money of her own.
Of course, she must have left her wallet in her other pants. But of course, no. And he tucks you in, or whatever, just whatever the innkeeper does. He cleans up. They close the door from the outside or from the inside. You know that it's not locked. The easiest way for you to get through is through the house. There is a fence gate for the horse. So he doesn't have to walk through the house. And that is it. He goes into his bedroom, closes the door, and wishes you good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Persephone.
She neighs.
Good night, Stardew.
Good night.
Good night, Soans.
Yeah, good night.
Good night, chicken.
Walk? They don't know. They're confused. But yeah, it's and that the straw and hay bed is surprisingly comfortable. Morning comes. Of course, there is a very loud rooster right next to you, so you are awoken at the crack of dawn.
Leander accidentally ate
continue-
half of his bed. It was delicious.
Just like suckling at night.
Yeah.
Midnight snack.
Yeah, just like inadvertently just kind of was nibbling on it.
Persephone ate a good portion of Leander's bed as well. So Leander wakes up on the ground, just on the dirt. Uh-oh.
Oh man, my back is killing me.
But you are free to continue your adventure. What do you do? It is the morning. In Witchwood, you see that as soon as you awoke, everybody else in the town awoke. It is a farming community. They wake up at the cock's call, and they go about their day.
Well, how are you guys feeling? You want to continue on our journey?
Yes. Anxious
Yeah,
to
let's get
there.
out of this barn.
All right, theater of mind time. I don't have maps for every single one of these places, so you have the map to your destination, and you know it starts in which way. So as you see in this map, in this town and in the map, which way basically has three ways to go. The way that you came from, which is the northeast, there's a southeast exit, and then there's a larger southwest exit.
Well, based off of this map, if we go south and then past this like volcano looking thing, I think that's where we need to go. But I'm not a great navigator, so.
Yeah, it looks like the road going southwest is the road we need to take. The road going southeast looks like it goes to this river.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's our best bet.
And once we get to the hand and the horn, we can kind of reassess. Because it looks like there's another road that might go through the woods or something.
Makes sense. I trust you've traveled much more. So I trust
Yeah.
your navigational skills.
I don't use a map much. I just kind of wander. It's kind of the lone wanderer, not the lone navigator. But this is pretty simple.
Lead on. No longer lone navigator.
The road to Hand and Horn is well marked, and it's not too far. As you walk down that, you ride for about an hour before you see what is clearly a unique geological structure. Soans, with your geological knowledge, I'm not going to make you roll anything to realize that this is mostly natural, but it has been accentuated with some stone shaping magic to form a large hand sticking out of the ground holding a war horn.
Is that a cousin of yours, Soans?
Looks like it might be somebody's version of art. Do I know?
Do I know like why they did this? Can I roll for what this means?
Sure.
Let's do history.
Oh, nailed it.
Well done.
Nice.
So you know that in this general region, there were a sect of druids that worshipped the earth. And while they weren't as connected to the earth as you are, they still took pride in themselves in using their earth and magic to create sculptures such as this. You know you don't know this particular one, but you know that likely this was to come celebrate a fallen druidic chieftain. His symbol was probably the hand and a horn, and they found a very suitable location to enhance the already existing features to celebrate his life. And it's a common thing that you see around here. They are noteworthy and beautiful, but they don't have. It's almost like to use common terms, like a Mount Rushmore. Like they found a suitable place and put a monument to a leader.
Well, when I go, hopefully they'll put a goblet in my hand. Am I right?
So while we're here, we're at the hand and the horn. Do we see another road? Because on the map there's one road that goes through it. And then like a little north of the wood bridge, it looks like there's a trail that kind of disappears into the woods. Do I see something that I think would connect it? Like that would potentially be going like southeast-ish?
Give me a perception or a survival check, and give it with advantage for you, Soans, because you are connected with rock, and it would be a rock trail or a rock path.
Ooh.
Right. With a 20, you
Wow.
are
Wow.
absolutely very sure that there is a path that leads to the southeast. To you, it might as well be, a freeway, a highway. I mean, it is easily apparent to you that this is a worn path in the rock that, because there is no soil or anything, you don't see the same normal of roads that you have, but I mean, clear as day to you that this is the path on this barren rock.
Look at the fighter hitting all those utility rolls.
Yeah. All right, compatriots, it's clear as day to me that this is the path. Follow me. Unless we wanted to do anything else in this horn.
No, I took a mental memory.
All right. Yeah, I remember it. It looks cool. Onward, ho.
Right. After about another hour or so, much slower because the road, while it is clear to you, it is a little bit more difficult to traverse. I forgot to ask you, are you walking, or are you riding, or are you on the cart?
Soans is walking for sure.
Leander's sitting in the cart. He might even be in the back doing brewing.
Stardew walks alongside Persephone.
Yeah, I imagine that because you're bond with Persephone, you really don't need somebody like at the reins. She's going where you ask her to go, and see, Leander's just in the back, kind of busy. But just because of the rocks, it's a little bit bumpier. The going here is slower than it was on the clear road. So a little bit over an hour, you get into a very thick section of the forest. The map, it doesn't look very thick in the map, but it is considerably thicker once you get in there. And it's not as obvious to you, at least right away, where this three-tree hill is. There are so many trees around, and it's a pretty big forest, so you're not 100% sure where it is.
Are we still on a clear path?
You are on a clear path, but you do see that there are some branching paths that start over here. So even though the map looks like there's just a single road, you see that what Soans was following was a cut in the mountain ridge. And then once you get through that cut into the woods, you see that it does start to branch out. And there's not as clear of a single path. So give me a survival check to help find Three Tree Hill. Anybody that wants to help.
You said survival?
Or perception if you're looking specifically for Three Tree Hill. So you could either look for that hill, or you could just try to find your bearings using the woods.
He'd be better at hill finding than
Oh yeah,
path
Nat
finding.
20. So while you're brewing, everybody's having a hard time finding, and you look straight up and you see Three Tree Hill through like a gap in the trees that nobody else can see, and you're like, it's right there. It's absolutely right there. And sure enough, there is a very steep hill with 3 trees on top that is hard to see through the forest, but just with your unique perception and your perspective from sitting in the wagon looking out, you were just a little bit higher than they were, and you saw over the top of trees that hill.
It's funny. It got a 20 and a 1 for the second roll.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. That's like a perfect split.
Perfect split. That is like exactly what you want, or what I would want if somebody has either advantage or disadvantage, because both ways is perfect.
Yep.
It's an all or nothing roll right there.
Yeah. All right. Hey, look over there. That hill has some trees on it. 3 of them, to be exact.
Oh yeah, I bet that's the 3 tree hill we've been looking for. Good eye.
So the map says we must pass the 3 tree hill and over the river Warn.
And the river is south of the 3 tree hill, should be east of us, so it should be on like our left-hand side.
And we should see a bridge.
Eventually a bridge, yeah.
So as long as we get to a river, if we can find that bridge, we know we're on the right track.
As you walk south, you do start to hear a distinct sound of water. It's not a large river, but you hear like more of a babbling brook or a stream. And sure enough, as you go south, you see the break in the trees for the stream, and in front of you is a wooden bridge.
Huzzah! The lone navigators succeed again.
Huzzah! What time of day is it right now? What do you guess?
And it's probably like late morning, early afternoon, perhaps.
Noon, I would say. It hasn't been about 1 to 2 hours for each leg of the journey, and you started at, say, about 7. So yeah, I would say around noon.
Okay, it doesn't seem like we have too much longer left, which is cool.
Yeah, I guess the next piece is to find the scorch of the red worm. Let's just hope it's not there anymore. The worm, not the scorch.
Yeah. And that should be like pretty much almost straight south from here.
As you travel south, you follow a pretty clear path, and as you get further and further south, you see that the once lush trees are starting to thin out, and you, Soans, recognize an ashy ground that is not from forest fire or anything. You recognize right away that it is a volcanic in nature, and sure enough, you see in the distance a volcano. The scourge of the red worm to you is clear as day. You don't have to roll anything. You understand that it's a volcano. The people who made this map must not have understood geologic activity, so they assumed that a mountain on fire is the home of a red worm, and it may actually be the home of a red worm. But you know that fire is most likely, and the heat and the ash is most likely from volcanic activity, but may actually be dragon related. But you don't see right now any evidence of a dragon.
Well, I don't know much, but I know that there's a high degree of probability there's a dragon in there waiting to eat us.
Yeah, maybe. But there's definitely lava in there, which is like the blood of the earth, and that's pretty cool. But we might be safe. Let's just keep a low profile either way.
Against such a formidable mountain, it won't be hard for me to keep a low profile. But what do we do now that we're here?
Well, if we look at the map, I think we travel past the worm's mark into the foggy moors.
Foggy moors.
So if we keep heading west, perhaps we'll find this spooky house with a bunch of birds flying around it. That's where I'd hide my treasure.
All right, traveling west from the scourge of the red worm,
I think we'll move
You
carefully
do.
through there.
So you are going a little slower, so the progress is slowed. But it wasn't quick to begin with just because the rocky nature of the soil is also not beneficial to the wagon. And you're just taking it easy. But a few miles out of the Scorch of the Redworm, the native landscape returns to its lush green state, but you in the valley formed by the mountains, the volcano and the mountains around it, you see a moor, a swampy area that is very foggy. It's obviously the foggy moors, but it is extremely foggy. It is hard for you to see more than 20 feet in front of you. And at this point, there is no more path. There is no road for you to follow. You are going by direction alone. So I will need you to make a survival check.
I can barely see a hand in front of my face.
You don't even have to. You can roll if you want, Leander, but it seems like you're not really leading the party. Yeah, you have no idea where it is. Like, it's
This is great.
so
This is in
useless
character.
to you that you're just, that you're so useless. I'm getting in the back of the wagon. And you do. But luckily, both Soans with an 18 and Stardew with a 19, they are. Soans doesn't base his direction on the sun or the sky. So not being able to see those landmarks doesn't affect him at all. He is based at 100% off of the Earth itself. I would imagine he has internal magnetic parts to him, like a pigeon, that it's really hard for him to get lost, I would imagine.
I'm a lot like a pigeon, except I can't fly and I'm afraid of heights. But as long as you're grounded to the earth, you can find the way.
And Stardew, you also know the way, and you're in agreement on which way is the way to go. But you're basing yours off of the local trees and the fauna and the flora, based on which direction the leaves are facing and which angle has the moss and things like that. You are very confident that you know which way is west, and you are able to traverse the moors simply. It could have been a lot worse if both of you were not as efficient in navigation as you were. But you just keep going west until you see a hill. And this hill you see it's very steep and very tall. And as you climb out of this hill, you climb out of the fog, and you are elevated above the fog, and you see a large stone chalet. And you see on a big stone sign that says Chalet Brantifac.
Brantifac?
Chalet Brantifac.
That name kind of sounds familiar.
Can I recall if that's a name we know?
Give me a check and tell me which check it is and why are you doing it.
If you're pulling
Oops.
on reserves of information, I guess it'd just be intelligence.
Mark cast Shillelagh.
I did not mean to cash the.
It's
Whoa,
fine. It's a cantrip.
Stardew. Are you gearing up for a fight?
He's got the shallots.
Sorry, I grabbed the wrong thing. I meant to give you some guidance, since you seem to have remembered
Yeah, I thought I remembered that
deja
name.
vu of this moment.
Damn, so that's
Perfect.
a
So that's a
non-natural
20.
20.
Yeah, but that's still a 20. So
Brantifax.
yes. So you do remember Chalet Brantifax. You don't remember exactly where in your research, because you've read quite a few books lately trying to find more about, the Shadowfell and the Vistani, and you did come across Chalet Brantifax in some of those recordings, but you don't remember where. You know that Chalet Brantifax is a wealthy noble's house. He was kind of a loner. He liked the seclusion. You don't really know why he liked the seclusion, and there wasn't a huge connection between Brantifax and the Shadowfell, but you know that they've mentioned that there's some sort of connection here between the Shadowfell. Some writings and some researchers have connected them, but The notes and messages were unclear on why.
Oh, I think I remember. I thought it was a brunch place that I used to go to, but no, I think we might be on the right track here. And this has some tenuous connection to the Shadowfell. Although, that means we should be careful.
Indeed. As you get closer, it took you quite a bit longer to travel here as it did before. You moved a lot slower and more cautiously. And even with knowing where you're going in the foggy moors, it still took you a little bit of time. So it is late evening, the sun is going down, and as you approach Chalet Brantifax, you see a collection of crows flying around. Some are perched on the gravestones, some are on the fence. See some are perched across on top of the chalet itself. You see that the drawing with the birds is pretty accurate. It seems to be a location where these large blackbirds, ravens, like to congregate.
I thought it was just for dramatic effect, but no, this map has quite attention to detail.
Should we knock? Does this place? You think they're home?
Well, we could
Looks
certainly
run
try.
down. So it looks. I don't know if you do. We're doing a perception check on it, but if you're walking around and looking at it, as you get closer, you see that it is neglected.
Can we
Let's
peek
peek
into
in
the
the
window?
window.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
Come on over. Yeah, so
Yeah,
Leander
it's-
looks in and looks around.
Looking into that room, you see that it is a parlor.
He looks at the bar shelf.
All right. You see a cabinet full of glass decanters and wine goblets.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think
you
we're
know
on
that
the right track.
There's more to it in here. You can kind of peek through, and you can't really see the details in the room. The windows are kind of fogged and crusty over, even the ones that you can see through. But you can see what kind of room it is, and see that it's deserted and dusty.
Leander wants to get clever. He wants to try and use his sorcerer ability on the window. Try to clean it with prestidigitation. Oh, I can't really see in here much. Let's try this. And we'll see if... I know we said not to do the wild magic on the cantrips, but...
Yeah, it's if you want to, I mean, you can, but I think cantrips... Well, for him, it makes sense because he doesn't have control of his cantrips either. So I would say roll it on any time you do any magic at all.
Yeah, I kind of want to do it on like any magic just for thematic.
So you rolled a 15? No, that's perception.
That was for perception. 2, damn it.
2.
One
So
off.
close to a 1.
I was so hoping.
It works, you clean as much as you can with prestidigitation. You remove most of the grime. It now just looks a little...
I think
like
it's streaky.
looking through a dirty window. Yeah, it's a little streaky. It's not looking through a crusty window. Just needs to be cleaned.
Like when you use the cheap Windex cleaner, the Windex knockoff.
And you clean it with an old dusty rag instead of like a clean one. In the parlor, you see the centerpiece of this parlor is a gold inlaid low table around which a handful of overstuffed chairs and sofas are neatly arranged. A 6-foot-tall gilded harp stands in the northwest corner. And if you look hard enough, you see there is a stairwell on that northeast corner, and that looks to be going up.
Well, I guess we should try the front door, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
I think with a little tender love and care, this could be a great fixer-upper.
Before we go in to such a potentially dangerous place, I'm going to take a moment to do the detect magic ritual.
Okay.
So it takes 10 minutes, and I don't have to use a slot?
You do not.
Okay, cool. She gonna do that.
All right. You look around. What's the range of detect magic? You want to click on it so I can see?
30 feet.
30 feet.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, 30 feet around.
Yeah. Yeah, from where you are, within 30 feet, you don't see any magical items. No glows. I mean, it's a noble's house, so you can imagine that some of the stuff has been blessed, but they have so minor magic that it barely registers on your detect magic.
Doesn't seem like there's anything dangerous here at the door, so I just wanted to check.
All right. In that 10 minutes, it has gone dark. And you look around and you don't see any more ravens. They have all gone.
That's disconcerting.
Give me a perception check.
Perfectly balanced.
Perfectly balanced. Well, with that mark, you got the 19? Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah, with you don't really see anything, but while he's looking for his detect magic, it's not magic, but he's focusing so much on his perception that he sees that there are lights. Looks like moving lights like of a lantern in the top floor by the spire. So that the southwest corner, that the round structure is a tower, and in that tower at the top, you see they're trying to stay hidden, but you do see that there are some flickering lights now and then. So there's something going on in there, and they're moving. They're not natural. They're moving around up there.
I'm not sure this place is entirely abandoned. Someone might be in the turret. Someone or something.
Well, I guess we should be on our guard, but who knows who could be inside here.
And it is getting dark, so perhaps
Yeah.
if we do run into someone, they'll let us stay here the night at least.
Yeah, perhaps they're friendly here, squatting in this dilapidated old mansion next to a graveyard. I'm sure probably not evil,
Perhaps not.
even though we're looking for a treasure that's being sought after by big bad evil guys. No, it's probably
Well,
fine.
I'm trying to stay positive. You go first then.
Okay.
As you're discussing, you hear quietly but distinctly the sounds of a dying man's scream coming from inside the house.
Did you guys hear that?
Sounds like someone's in trouble.
That sounded distinctly like a dying man's scream.
Yeah, I know that sound pretty distinct, and that's definitely what that was.
All right, lone navigators to action. We burst through the door.
Give me a strength check.
Ooh,
I can't move my token through. You son of a bitch.
It's
You
locked.
can't because it's locked.
Yeah, so Leander tries to charge straight in. Why is my dex? Oh, it's not two. Duh.
Yeah, give
Not
me
dex,
a
I'm sorry.
strength check.
I clicked dex on accident.
All right.
Damn, 14's actually.
It is. You summon up all of your strength. You hear this scream and you charge at the door with your shoulder and you try to bust it down and you hit it with all of your force and you feel a weighted bar behind the door and it creaks but it doesn't give out. And you feel that there is a wooden crossbar on the back. Like you've felt it a million times that's not it's not the lock or the hinges that you're fighting against. It's something bracing that door.
Yeah, I think he tried to use his satyr horns to try and ram it all cool and just gets knocked on his ass. Just bounces off. Yeah, I think this is out of the realm of my abilities. The wooden door, my nemesis.
Could I cast Mold Earth on this wall and just make a 5-foot door? Because it's stone, correct?
It is. You absolutely can.
I was trying to read what the cantrip said, so I clicked on it and it put it in here.
Yeah. Dirt or
So, yeah.
stone that you can see within range and fits a 5-foot cube. So it's a 5-foot cube is pretty big.
Yeah, I don't need it to be just like a 5x5 hole.
Yeah. So you make a 5x5 hole and you now have entrance, but it's hard for me to do that. So I'm just going to say that you use that to unlock the door.
Well,
Yeah,
you
that's
could
fine.
Go in and then unlock
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because I would have to redo all of the walls, which I can do if you do it again.
Oh,
Or
that's
I'll just
fine.
So you enter the cloakroom. Rusty iron hooks line the walls of this entrance foyer. Hanging from 2 of these hooks are a shovel and a rake. A dusty cloak is draped over a hook next to a round-topped door in the south wall.
Leander calls out, "Hello? Is anyone here? We're here to help."
I thought we were gonna try to be quiet.
Oh, I thought we were trying to go in and rescue a dying person.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you rescue people by yelling at the and letting their murderers know you're here? I mean, maybe.
Well, you're the soldier. I just make booze. That's probably a good point.
As you say that, you hear sounds like a pig, and it's coming from the door to your on the west wall. That the southern door on the west wall. Can you see that there's a door there? The southern half of the wall. All right, Dar. Yeah.
A pig killer's on the loose.
Can we open this here door?
Yeah, you. So you go to open it.
Try to.
Yeah, it opens.
Leander steps inside.
Here, piggy, piggy, piggy.
So you do see the room you enter is the den. The light enters this spacious room through a bulge in the north wall, where cracked and broken windows look over a foggy veil. Dusty sheets cover most of the room's furnishings. Cobwebs stretch between the antlers, wolf heads, and other hunting trophies mounted on the walls above the wainscoting. A pale rectangle above the large fireplace suggests that a picture or mirror once stood there. You see the stairs to the southeast, and you see a hallway to the southwest. The pig sounded like it was coming from the room to this directly south of you, not the round room that you can see.
Leander creeps along to look into where that pig sound came from.
Wait, what?
So you're going to come through that door right there?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure I heard it come from this room.
So not the room that you're in, the other room. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, I can. Here. If you want to know what's in that room. Yeah, sorry. There's a door there. Sorry, you couldn't tell.
No, I couldn't see.
So that door opens up, and that is the ghostly sense of meals past still haunts this kitchen, forever trapped in the woods of its table. The soot in its hearth and the grime in the pots, many of which hang from hooks around the room. Almost everything you would expect to see in a kitchen of this size can be found here, including dish-filled cupboards, cleaning supplies, and cooking utensils. Mice scurry across the floor, trying their best to avoid you. You don't
piggy.
see a pig. Give me a perception check.
I'm good at perceiving pigs. Thankfully, they're not that hard to perceive.
Oh, perfect. So
what? Okay.
Jeez, someone's on fire today.
That's a 1 in 400 chance to roll dual nat 20s.
I'm gonna start playing the lottery.
Yeah.
You should.
So with this, you don't see a pig. You don't even see the signs of where a pig could have been. You don't see hoof prints, but you do see this kitchen is used. It's not like the other rooms that you came through that show no use. Somebody's using this kitchen, and they used it today.
Well, there's either a magical invisible pig in this place, or someone else is tricking us here.
Since you did go into the dining room, which is the one on the south, I'll talk about the dining room. So,
okay.
Since you did walk into there, it's a circular chamber at the base of the tower, contains a large oak dining table surrounded by 6 high-backed chairs carved with images of stags. Suspended above the table is a gaudy chandelier tied off with ropes. Puddles of water on the flagstone floor are the results of moisture seeping in through the 3 narrow, broken windows evenly spaced around the tower wall. A fireplace set into the wall is blackened by soot. With that perception check, I'll let you, since it is a crit, I'll let you know that soot from the fireplace is also recent. So this fireplace has been used, so has the dining room.
Well, I think there have been recent tenants here. I just hope that they're friendly.
Yeah, it doesn't look as much use as the kitchen, but it does not. It has been used recently, but not like today.
Well, if we're not the only one here, then we should be cautious. Stardew casts Pass Without Trace.
Okay.
Wow, I feel like a veil of shadow and silence is radiating from me.
All right. You Pass Without Trace. Are you going to start sneaking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stealth mode.
So as you sneak back north out of there's nowhere to go in the ground floor or the ground floor of the dining room.
Let's sneak up the stairs we found.
As you go north, you hear another moan. Not as quite as loud as that dying man, but it sounds like it's from the same person. But it's coming from that southern door in the cloakroom. that you did not go into.
Wait, that noise isn't upstairs. It's in the cloakroom.
That you open the door and it leads downstairs into dun, 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 a dark cellar. Can you see anything?
Now.
No,
But that's okay.
I can't see anything.
Does anybody have does anybody have night vision, dark vision?
Leander concentrates real hard and tries to make a light appear.
All right, let me
do a roll.
I
don't know if satyrs have. I need to check if they have dark vision.
So you didn't get it, but
One of these days.
so what are you choosing to emit the light?
His quarterstaff. Kind of uses
His
it
quarterstaff.
like
All right.
a walking stick.
Bright light of 20 feet and low light of 20 feet. So the cold, damp, oddly shaped cellar has an 8-foot-high wooden ceiling and a flagstone floor. The walls are made of rough, mortared bricks. Thick cobwebs cover crates, barrels, and old furniture stacked against the north wall. To the south are a pair of closed wooden doors. The door farthest from you swings open on rusty hinges. And beyond it, you see a smaller, almost sepulchral chamber. I don't know, I mess up that word for show.
It's not a word we say. Oh, look at that sepulchral chamber over here.
Yeah.
All right.
So you do see a door to the right there that you'd buy.
Is it unlocked?
You try, and it looks like it's just stuck on its hinges. It's just a little swollen from the moisture down here. It's very moist. So it looks like it's just swollen into the frame. You want to try to open it? It's going to take a little bit of his strength. You think that it's not impossible to open, but you're going to have to hit it with some force. Not hard enough. You can do it again. I mean, I don't think there's a limit on how many strength checks you can do for it. Eventually, after trying it a couple times, you just keep hitting with your shoulder, and eventually, with a 15, you are able to open
Maybe we
that
make
door.
a bunch of noise or something.
You do make a bunch of noise. So even though you've been sneaking, you definitely make a bunch of noise, and
We announced ourselves like the second we came in.
yeah, they know that whoever or whatever, or if anyone's here, they know you're here.
But now
So-
we're passing with a veil under a veil of silence and shadow.
Well,
And that's-
she is. We aren't. That's a one-person spell.
I thought it was
This-
a group spell.
It says range self, right? Am I
Each
reading?
creature you choose.
Yep.
Oh,
You're all sneaky if you want to be.
We got that plus 10.
Yeah.
Nice.
This cold, windowless room contains a pair of wooden framed beds, 2 narrow wardrobes, and an old rug. Mounted on the east wall between the beds is a wooden shelf supporting a pair of candlesticks. The candles in them are unlit. You know a servant's quarters when you see one. You can tell that this is quarters for the poor servants.
What about this door over here?
You with that door, you open it, swings open, little rusty and making some sounds. Give me a stealth check on the door open if you're trying to be sneaky.
And then add 10 to that.
Yeah, so you are able to just swing open this rusty door. It's the hinges have almost rotted away, so it just moves. The wood and the metal are just so bendable that they don't make any sound as you open it up. And you see a well. The only feature of this damp, cold, circular room is a 4-foot diameter well in the middle of the floor. Next to the shaft sits a wooden bucket fastened to a coiled length of rope. Bottom of the shaft is veiled in darkness. It's too very, very deep.
If Leander
Give me a
reaches his staff down there, like kind of holds it down, does some light shine further into it?
Yeah, it's deeper than you have 40 feet of light, and it's deeper than that.
That's a deep hole.
Is it perception?
Give me a perception check, everyone.
Damn, Stardew. Perceptive as F.
So all of you are actually able to hear the sound of a man's voice. This sounds like it's emanating from down there. And you hear it, and it says, "Braun, where are you, my boy? Where are you, Braun? Come back to me."
That's weird.
Echoey and eerie. Sounds like it's coming from the bottom of that well shaft.
That's mysterious.
Can we try and roll up
That's
the
very mysterious.
bucket?
The bucket is up at the top actually, but with your perception check, you do know that this is very rough hewn rock. And Soans, especially for you, this is your natural habitat. It's very climbable.
Stardew picks up like a piece of loose stone and drops it down. Does she hear the sound of water? Like a splash or anything?
It does make a little plop at the end, but it does fall for quite a bit.
If it's a
I don't
well
know how-
full of water, how would someone be down there? Quite confusing.
Well, we've heard some strange sounds before. Can Leander kind of like think about the stuff that they've heard? Is this some kind of trickery at play? Could he put that together with like insight?
Give me an insight
or
check.
investigation? Which I don't know which.
Yeah, or an investigation check. We'll see.
'Cause I feel like we're trying to put stuff together for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll do investigation. Not great.
It doesn't sound like if it was a trick, you don't know what the trick is supposed to be. Like, yeah, I mean that is distinctly you heard a man's voice down there. It does sound similar to the man's voice that you heard that was moaning. This one's a little bit more clear because you're in the room, but they were both deep men's voice, so you don't really know if it is a trick what it's trying to do, but you don't believe it's a trick.
And I just can't be certain. So then he calls out down the well. Hello? Do you need help? Are you okay down there?
As you shout down there, you hear echo in the chamber, and then you hear his reply, which is the same that he's saying before. Braun, where are you, Braun? I need you. He sounds worried and sad.
Yeah, that's a ghost for sure.
You think it's a ghost?
I'm leaning that way, yeah.
Oh man, I didn't think this was gonna be a haunted mansion. It's kind of just banking on evil guys. Maybe it's an evil guy ghost.
Yeah. Yeah, easily could be. The Venn diagram of those things overlap pretty frequently. We climbing down this well to talk to this ghost or what?
I mean, I have cloven hooves, so they're not ideal suitably for climbing.
I don't know if you've ever seen a goat, but that's specifically what they're good for.
Well, have you ever tried to have cloven hooves and hands? It's very difficult. I'm just not very well suited for climbing. I have a -1 on my strength.
Can I fit down there?
Yeah, you can definitely fit down there. It is,
I'm a big guy.
and it's not a problem. It's 5 foot by 5 foot. It's a very large well that it's 4 foot diameter, which is definitely big enough. You know, it's a door frame. It's bigger around than a door frame.
So I fit through those.
Yes.
Okay, let me tie this like rope thing around my waist so if I fall, I don't die.
All right. And where are you tying it? Somewhere else?
What's on this like crank? Correct?
Yeah, there's a crank on there, and they're cross-hatched. You know, it's a well, so there's the crank and the crossbar.
Yeah, so like it's almost like a belay system.
Are you as heavy as rocks?
Oh, I'm pretty heavy, but I didn't write down weight on the thing.
It seems secure.
Or Mark didn't, whoever made this character sheet.
Oddly enough, their weight did not work out thematically. They just had like normal human weights.
Yeah, I remember I'm thinking like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I could cast slow fall on Soans if he is heavy as rocks, but if he's not, then I'm not as worried about it.
I mean, I'm big and I'm heavy, but I'm not like a rock. I can climb down. I'm not worried about it.
All right, give me an athletics check. Should be. I mean, you're a soldier, so I hope athletics is trained.
It is. I'm clicking it.
Oh,
did it come through?
It did. And you had an 11 with an 11 athletics check.
But you could get Mark gave guidance.
You can.
Oh yeah, roll a d4. Oh, you rolled. There they are.
Yeah. Rolling the dice.
This is the highest ping I've ever seen on Roll20.
There it is. Yeah, this is really bad. I don't know.
Gotcha.
With a 14 athletics check, you're able to climb down into the well. The shaft descends 60 feet. So you, I don't know how you're seeing, but you have low light vision. But
Do I?
I think so.
Drop that staff down here. I can't see shit.
Yeah.
Here you go.
So at the bottom of the 60-foot, it's water, and as you climb down further into the water, you feel the water is about 10 feet deep. So even if you were to fall, you would not take any falling damage because it's deep enough to catch you. There doesn't seem to be any person down here, and you don't feel the presence of a ghost. I don't know. You don't know what a ghost would feel like, but you're not like there's no apparition or any sudden vision. Give me a perception check.
Is there any money at the bottom? Because sometimes people put money into wells to make a wish.
Yeah, I'm looking. I gotta find my. I was reading if I have low light vision, and it looks like only the fire ones do. I gotta get back to my thing.
Oh, I must have done that. Okay, so you still have the
I got the staff.
the staff. Fortunately, the staff floats, and you do not. So that's I think is one of the. I'm going to say thematically, as a rock creature, you don't float. You cannot swim, or it's very hard for you to swim.
That's fair. I like that. Yeah, I like that. So he might be actually afraid of water too. Then I have him afraid.
That's what I was assuming too. Yeah.
I can't open anything on here.
Uh-oh. Are you going to search? Are you looking for coins? You searching the bottom of the well?
Around. Yeah, I'll look around.
Yeah,
I'm down here. May as well.
All right. So it's easy for you because you can just sink to the bottom, and it's just like you looking around anything else. You look around there, and you see a holy symbol of Soon, who is even the god of love and beauty. She's one of the most popular gods, and it's on a gold chain, and it contains a tiny portrait of a woman.
Yeah, I found a nice necklace. It's a holy symbol. This seems like somebody. I mean, I don't know if somebody would have thrown this down here for good luck, because probably having the symbol is better luck. But I'll bring it up when I climb up.
Do I see anything else?
You do not.
I don't see anything else. There's no ghost or guys looking for Bradley. Who was he looking for?
I think it was
Brorn.
B-Rad.
Brorn.
These people like a lot of R's in their names for some reason.
Yeah, ours are easy and they're cheap.
Not like those tricky vowels.
Give me a climb check to get out.
Well, sorry. I will once I get back into the thing, or I could just tell you I did good.
Hey, does that necklace you found make sounds? Have you tried listening to it?
I put it up to my ear like a seashell.
Maybe it's one of those magic talking necklaces I've been hearing about.
What did you want me to roll?
Yeah, an athletics check to climb back out.
Okay, well, you get my character.
And if you want to do something else down there, you don't see anything else down there.
Well, what else do I do? I'm not gonna take a bath. Athletic, bam.
Oh, you just climb up you bound up that wall like it's no big deal, like you're climbing a ladder.
Yeah, climbing's not hard. I try to tell you guys.
Boop. And I show them this cool necklace.
And I've just started recently learning about magic, but I'm imagining it's not too hard for someone to create some kind of charm that makes these things talk.
Yeah, like what are the faraway stones, or what are wayfire stones that you can like communicate through?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, I mean, you want to check it out? Both of you know way more about magic than I do.
And I
just know
very
about
little.
Rocks.
Stardew, can you see if this thing gives you the tingles? Your magic tingles?
I hand it to Stardew.
I'll cast Detect Magic.
All right, you were going to take the 10 minutes to do it as a ritual to protect your spell slot? Or are you going to cast it as a spell slot?
Yeah, take your time. I want to dry off.
Okay.
I hate being wet. It's all gross.
You don't see the tingles. You don't see anything. It's not magic. It's just a symbol of Suna, the god of love and beauty, and a necklace with a portrait. It's a little locket, and you see a very fancily dressed and beautiful woman, older but beautiful, in the locket.
Well, it's a very nice necklace.
It is. The only magic here seems to be the magic of one's own thoughts by owning it.
Magic of memories.
The most powerful magic of all. Oh, wait, that's love.
And fire.
And also fire. And lightning, too.
Yeah, lightning's better. Yeah, this basement sucks.
Yeah, we're leaving this sucky basement.
Okay. Back to the chalet, first floor. So you are where you were. Now, the only room that's really unexplored is to go up this. Yeah, you go up the stairs. It's like a half flight of stairs to go into. It's a very interesting design. That it looks like you have to climb up, but it's just how the terrain is. The south end is lower than the north end, or vice versa. The south end is higher than the north end. So you climb up that flight of stairs to get to that window level that you were looking outside from. And you open up that door, which I will do now. Bam. And that's the parlor that you were at.
Oh, hey.
You already described all the area of the parlor. You see now underneath that window is a pile of sheets. But just similar to the other ones, it looks like old sheets after somebody moved out. You know, they used to be covering the furniture, but it looks like somebody moved those sheets and has kind of been using this, but not really.
What's up with this bar parlor stand or whatever bar stand?
Yeah, you see that it's a fancy parlor. It's a fancy bar stand. You don't see really any spirits or anything left in the glasses.
No.
As your magic is your detect magic is fading, you notice that some of the decanters have slight magic on it that you would assume to keep things from spoiling, keep things tasting fresh. You know, that's the minor magic that you see, but it barely registers. It's a more of a parlor trick to do in the parlor.
No. There's magical preservatives.
Mm-hmm.
Is this stairs up here?
That is stairs up to the second floor.
Yeah.
I think that's where I saw the light coming from. Let's go up the stairs.
Okay, give me.
Do we feel like this is a stopping point?
This could be a good stopping point because I need to stop.
Yeah.
That's it for this week's session of Book of the Raven, the third adventure in Candlekeep Mysteries. Join us next time as Leander, Stardew, and Soans continue to explore the mansion, try and uncover the secrets of its mysterious denizens. Will they be friend, foe, or something else entirely? Head over to plus1togaming.com to check out our other live plays, DM tips, and role-playing resources to help you get the most out of your games. Have a topic you want us to cover? Shoot us a note at plus1togaming@gmail.com and we'll get it on the show. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.